Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, Organized with Joy, and welcome if you are new here. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I decided that I wanted to share some tips for packing to move with you. You might not be moving, but maybe a move is in your future, so definitely save this video for later, or maybe you know friends or family members that might be moving and this video would be helpful to them. Pass this video along to them. But we have lived in 4 different states, 6 apartments, and 2 homes. So we have moved quite a lot over the course of our 26-year marriage. So I've kind of learned some tips and tricks on just how to make a move go more smoothly. So I thought I would share these tips with you, and I hope that they are helpful to you. The first tip that I have to share with you is to pack all non-essential items well in advance. I would usually pack non-essential items probably 2 to 3 months in advance just to get it out of the way. We often don't realize just how much stuff we have, and we don't realize just how long it's gonna take for us to get an entire house packed up. So packing up those non-essential items in advance will just give you that head start. Some examples of these might be home decor or picture frames, or maybe throw pillows and blankets and things of that nature that you don't necessarily really need, but maybe it makes your home feel more cozy. My second tip is to have color-coded labels for whatever room each box belongs in. So each room would have a designated color, and you could even put up like a little poster board or even just a piece of paper with the color in each room. I think this is especially helpful if you have movers moving your belongings, or even if family or friends are helping. You don't have people constantly asking you, which room does this belong in? So it's really simple. When they pick up the box and see what color it is, they know exactly which room to take it to. My third tip is to use things like blankets and towels to pack fragile items. This will be really efficient because basically you're just packing 2 things at once, but you're keeping those fragile items safe. Obviously, if it's really fragile or important, you'll want to wrap it in bubble wrap or newspaper to keep it especially safe. But if you have items that are kind of fragile, I think using extra blankets and towels from around your home is a great way to get those packed up. My next tip is to save your newspaper for wrapping fragile items. And if you don't receive a newspaper, you can actually purchase unprinted newspaper from your local moving supply store, or maybe even Home Depot or Lowe's or places like that to wrap these items. I do suggest, while we're on this topic, to not use newspaper to wrap your dishes, like your drinking glasses and your bowls and plates and things like that, because then on the other end you might have to wash all those items because the newsprint does kind of rub off onto your dishes. So that is another tip. The 5th tip I have is to ask your local grocery store or big box store like Walmart or Target if they have extra boxes that you could take. Oftentimes they have extra boxes just from unpacking inventory in their store, and they're happy to share them with you. But I will say some of these boxes aren't quite as strong as if you were to purchase boxes from your local moving store. So you definitely want to be careful about which items you choose to pack in those boxes, but using boxes that are free are a great way to save money on your move. Tip number 6 is to declutter and donate or sell any items that are not worth moving. So sometimes this can be really challenging. You might be on a time crunch, or you might not have enough time depending on how much stuff you have to go through and declutter. But it is a really great time to evaluate if there are things that you can let go of, because there is no sense spending the time packing up and moving items that you no longer love or use. My next tip is to have paper goods like paper plates, plastic cups, and cutlery on hand leading up to the move. That way you can go ahead and get your kitchen packed and ready to go. And it's kind of nice also to not have to do dishes when you are doing those last few days of packing. It's also nice on the other end when you get there to immediately have paper plates and things that you can eat off of, so that you don't have to worry about unpacking your entire kitchen before you get something to eat. The next tip I have for you has been so helpful to me in moves, and that is to have a bin with all of your moving supplies in it. Your packaging tape, your Sharpie, your labels, scissors, all the things you need to pack things up. You might even want to have 2 of these bins filled with these items in both bins, maybe one for upstairs, one for downstairs. Know where this bin is located at all times. Always put it back in a centralized location so that everyone who is packing knows where to look to find all of these things. But if it's all collected together, it's so much easier to know where these items are, and you're not scrambling, looking all around your house for different items to help you pack. Tip number 9 is something that people might not think about, and that is to carefully label your last boxes. I know that when you're getting to those last boxes, you are oftentimes just throwing a bunch of stuff in a box. You aren't thinking about if it is a cohesive box or anything. You're just trying to get all of those last minute things packed. So I would suggest making sure you write specifically what is in those boxes, and I would even write directly on the box, last box. That way you know these are items that you used right up until the end, and you can unpack those first when you get to the other end. Tip number 10 is to enlist help with packing. If you have children, you can enlist their help. You can teach them how to pack. You can give them autonomy and allow them to pack their own things. And oftentimes, depending on the age of the children, they usually are really excited about packing and packing their things, so they will be helpful. Or maybe you can enlist the help of a friend or family member. It's always more fun to pack up a house when you have a buddy helping you than to do it on your own. My next tip is to unpack the essentials first when you arrive at your new place. Maybe this is a really obvious tip, but sometimes when you are moving, you can arrive to your new place and feel totally overwhelmed by all of the boxes that you need to unpack. But if you unpack the essentials first, that is the most important, starting with things like bedding or your kitchen essentials, your bathroom essentials. I know for me, one of the first things I want off that moving truck is my coffee. Anybody else can relate to that? You also have those boxes that you labeled last box to unpack first as well, because you know you used all those items right up until the end. My 12th and final tip is to take breaks. Listen to your body. Packing for a move can be totally overwhelming and exhausting. I have a little story for you. There was one time when we were moving to a new apartment, and I was 7 months pregnant with my youngest. So I had 2 young kids and I was very pregnant, and I definitely pushed myself way too hard, and my mom actually had to fly down and stay with me so that I could rest and recover from that. So definitely listen to your body and take breaks when you need them. Well, I hope this video gave you some great tips for your next move, or like I mentioned, if you want to pass this video along to a friend or family member that's about to move, that would be great too. I do have this information detailed in a blog post over on my website, organizedwithjoy.com. So if you are interested in reading the blog post, you can definitely head over there, and I will be sure to link that in the description box below. But thank you so much for watching this video today, and I will see you next time. Bye.